Welcome back, classic car enthusiasts. Today we're diving into those essential DVLA tips for classic car owners to help you avoid costly mistakes. We've heard from many of you in the last video about the challenges of dealing with the DVLA, especially regarding modifications. Recently, the DVLA launched a call for evidence, which is a consultation aimed at gathering feedback on vehicles registration processes and regulations. This is a fantastic opportunity for classic car owners to voice their concerns and suggestions. Let's break down some of the key points to help make your journey smoother and ensure your feedback to the DVLA is impactful. First up, let's talk about reconstructed vehicles. If you're building a vehicle from genuine period parts that are over 25 years old and it reflects the original spec, you can keep the original registration. Here's what you need to know. Form V627/1 Built Up Vehicle Inspection Report. You need photos of the vehicle, evidence of type approval if necessary, receipts for major components, the vehicle's logbook, your V5C. This ensures your vehicle stays true to its heritage and complies with DVLA standards. For more details, check out gov.uk rebuilt vehicles. All of these will be in the description below. An example of a reconstructed vehicle could be a classic Land Rover, rebuilt using a combination of original and period correct parts from other vehicles. As long as all parts are over 25 years old and reflect the original specification, you can retain the original registration. The vehicle must be inspected and verified by a relevant owners club to ensure it meets the DVLA criteria. Another example of a reconstructed vehicle could be a classic Mini Cooper. Suppose you're rebuilding this iconic car using original and period correct parts from various sources. As long as all parts are over 25 years old and match the original specifications, you can retain the original registration. The vehicle must be inspected and verified by a relevant owners club to ensure it meets the DVLA criteria. Now, this all seems crazy, I know. You could argue, how would the DVLA know I built a car up from parts with a valid V5C? You could also argue it is a restoration rather than a reconstruction, so have your say on the consultation. Next, let's discuss radically altered vehicles. If your car has been significantly modified, it needs to score at least 8 points under the DVLA's point system to keep its original registration. Here's the breakdown. Original or new unmodified chassis or monocoque body shell, 5 points. Suspension, front and back, 2 points. Axles, both, 2 points. Transmission, 2 points. Steering assembly, 2 points. And the engine, 1 point. If your vehicle scores fewer than 8 points or uses a second-hand or altered chassis, it will get a Q registration number. For more information, visit gov.uk and look for the radically altered page. Details below. An example of a radically altered vehicle could be this Marina Coupe that is being extensively modified, fitting suspension from another car and making the doors longer. These types of alterations would require the vehicle to pass an individual approval test and would typically result in a Q plate due to the significant changes from its original specification. Now, is that fair? Well, yes. It isn't the car it started off as, but it would be nice not to have a Q plate. Fill out the consultation. There is a part specifically about this. For those with vehicles over 40 years old, they may qualify as a vehicle of historic interest or VHI and benefit from MOT exemption. To qualify, your vehicle must be over 40 years old, free from substantial changes in the last 30 years. Substantial changes include modifications to the chassis, body, axles or engine. However, routine maintenance and preservation do not count as substantial. It is still crucial to ensure your vehicle is roadworthy. For more information, check out gov.uk MOT for classic vehicles. All of these in the description below. The key part here is that the car has not been modified substantially in the last 30 years. So you may own a classic car that was heavily modified over 30 years ago, say a 50s hot rod, and so long as it hasn't been significantly modified in the last 30 years, it will qualify for free road tax and be MOT exempt. Reselling or replacing the body of your vehicle involves some specific regulations. If you use the original or new unmodified chassis along with at least 2 other major components that were original, you can keep the original registration. Otherwise, the vehicle will receive a Q plate. Necessary documents include the Form V627/1 Built-Up Vehicle Inspection Report, receipts for the new shell and major components, photos of the vehicle. For detailed guidance, visit .gov.uk rebuilt vehicles, in there below. Now, let's talk about the important topic for classic car enthusiasts, the use of replacement chassis. We'll cover when a replacement chassis is considered a repair rather than a modification, how this impacts the need for an IVA test, and the specific guidelines set by the DVLA. A replacement chassis involves swapping out the original chassis of a vehicle with a new one that is identical in specification. This is often necessary when the original chassis has suffered from significant damage or corrosion. DVLA provides clear guidance on when a replacement chassis is considered a repair. According to the DVLA, if your vehicle's chassis is replaced with one that is identical to the original, it is regarded as a repair rather than a modification. This means the vehicle retains the original registration and does not require an IVA test. Replacing the chassis on a Land Rover Series 3 with an identical new chassis would not require an IVA test provided no significant modifications are made to other major components. Have you replaced the chassis on your classic car? Tell us about your experience and how you ensured it met DVLA guidelines. Let's look at some real world examples and insights from the classic car community. Many Land Rover enthusiasts frequently replace their chassis due to rust. As long as the new chassis matches the original specifications, the vehicle retains its historic status without needing an IVA. Other body-on-frame cars like Morgans, TVRs and Triumph TR models also follow similar practices. Enthusiasts ensure that the new chassis matches the original specifications to avoid the need for additional tests and retain the vehicle's historic registration. What challenges have you faced during a chassis replacement? Share your tips and tricks in the comments below. According to the Road Traffic Act of 1988, it's essential that any modification, including chassis replacement, complies with the legal requirements to ensure safety and legality on the road. Section 42 of the Act states clearly that using a vehicle which has been modified in such a way that it no longer complies with the standard it was designed to meet is an offence. Ensuring that any chassis replacement or modification is carried out properly is crucial for the safety of a vehicle's occupants and other road users. It's advisable to have such work checked by a professional mechanic or specialist. What steps do you take to ensure your vehicle modifications are safe and legal? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so it's important to know that a replacement chassis is well supported practice within the classic car community. Organisations like the Historic Classic Vehicles Alliance, or HCVA, actively work with enthusiasts to ensure that their restorations meet regulatory standards and that their concerns are addressed. The HCVA is dedicated to protecting the future of classic and historic vehicles by working with the DVLA to shape policies that support our community. How has community support helped you in your restoration projects? Share your stories in the comments below. And it's important to note you still need to fill out that consultation from the DVLA, which will shape how classic car ownership will be in years to come. Now, let's clarify the difference between reconstructing vehicles and the illegal practice known as ringing. Reconstructing a vehicle involves legally rebuilding a classic car using original or period correct parts, ensuring it meets DVLA standards. This practice is transparent and includes thorough documentation and inspections. On the other hand, ringing is an illegal activity where the identity of a stolen vehicle is swapped with that of a legitimate but written off vehicle. This is done to disguise the stolen car, allowing it to be sold without raising suspicion. Ringing is a criminal offence and involves serious consequences, including heavy fines and imprisonment. Reshelling is another topic of debate in the classic car world. Some enthusiasts argue that reshelling is acceptable because manufacturers used to reshell cars themselves, especially when repairing vehicles that had sustained significant damage. They see it as a way to preserve classic cars that might otherwise be scrapped due to rust or irreparable damage. However, there are counter arguments to consider. Reshelling can impact the authenticity and historical value of a classic car. The vehicle may no longer be seen as original, which can affect its market value and collector interest. While the DVLA does allow the use of new shells in reconstructed vehicles, it's crucial to follow specific guidelines. A vehicle can retain its original registration if it uses a new chassis or monocoque body shell of the same specification as the original, along with at least 2 other major components from the original vehicle, such as suspension, axles, transmission, steering assembly or engine. However, if the vehicle uses a second-hand or altered chassis, it will receive a Q plate, indicating significant modifications. Cars to note that have new shells available in the UK are the Classic Mini, MGB Roadster and GT, the MG Midget and Sprite models, and recently you can get hold of a Mark 1 or Mark 2 Escort. No Sierras or Marinas. When it comes to insuring modified classic cars, there are several factors that insurance companies consider. Modifications can affect your premiums because they can change the car's performance, value and risk profile. Here are some key points to follow. Changes like engine tuning, turbochargers or performance exhaust systems can increase your premium because they enhance the car's power and speed, which can lead to higher risk of accidents. Custom paint jobs, body kits and aftermarket wheels also affect premiums, mainly because they increase the car's value and the potential cost of repairs. Upgrades like racing seats, custom upholstery and advanced audio systems should be declared to ensure they're covered in case of damage. Installing alarms or immobilizers can sometimes reduce your premiums as they decrease the risk of theft. It's essential to declare all modifications to your insurer to avoid invalidating your policy. Failure to do so can result in denied claims and potential legal issues. Specialist insurers like Keith Michaels, Brentaker and Adrian Flux offer tailored policies for modified classics and can provide agreed value packages which ensure you receive a pre-agreed amount if your car is written off. In conclusion, navigating the DVLA regulations can be challenging, but with the right information and preparation you can avoid costly mistakes and keep your classic car compliant and roadworthy. Remember to document all modifications thoroughly, understand the point system for radically altered vehicles and ensure any replacement chassis matches the original specifications. Always consult with recognised owners clubs and professionals to verify your vehicle's compliance. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for tips and insights into the world of classic, modified and kit cars. Hit the notifications bell so you never miss an update. Share your experiences and questions in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Your stories and tips can help fellow enthusiasts avoid common pitfalls and keep their classic cars in top shape. Thanks for watching. Stay connected with us on social media. I'm Clayton Speed Cars on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, happy motoring.